why do I need to share my DBS? Why do I need to share my safeguard? And you as an FA have got it. Clubs are the heartbeat of football. The participants there are the heartbeat of football. And everyone says, don't they, if we don't have referees, we wouldn't have a game. Well, yes, that is, the crux of it. But actually, if we don't have clubs, we don't have games to referee. So we've got to keep the clubs happy. We've got a level 7 referee who turns up every single week to referee, and I keep saying to him, go for promotion. He's like, I'm happy where I am. Do you know what? Those people we need, because we still need them at the bottom of the game.
Hello and welcome to the YesRef podcast with me, Ollie Ballinger.
And me, Ben Williamson.
Ben, how's things, mate? Good week?
Quality week, mate. Yeah, probably the best week yet. Watching the numbers grow and supporting people in YesRef, dream. You?
Good.
Good week?
Good week. I would say it's been a stressful one, but these things aren't easy, and it'd be boring if it was all steady sailing, right? So
Very true, mate. Very true.
Luke, how was your week?
It's been good, really busy. Lots of appointments and FA Cup, FA Vars, trophy, all of those things mixed in, pinching games. So yeah, it's been a busy week. Referees course as well. So we got some new referees to add to the YesRef clan in the next week or so, which will be good. So sorry, mate, you'll be a little bit busier again.
No problem. We love that. Don't mind that busy.
Tremendous. So you found some time for the YesRef podcast, Luke.
We appreciate that. Thank you, mate.
No worries.
You want to tell our audience who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Luke Wilkes. I am from sunny Cornwall, although today is absolutely tipping it down with rain.
Oh, it is here in
so
too, mate.
Not quite so fun. I am the referee appointments officer for Cornwall. We are slightly different to lots of other places around the county where I'm in charge of all football referee related appointments within the county. So yeah, that's part-time job on top of being a teacher of the deaf as well. So yeah, 3 days doing the referee appointments, 5 days teacher of the deaf, 7 days in a week. So something has to give. Something has to give.
And are you a referee?
Referee level 5. Also step 3, 4, 5, 6 observer, referee tutor, developer. Yeah, pretty much anything you could do within referee, and I've either done it or I'm doing it currently.
You are the man.
Live and breathe football, mate. Live and breathe football.
Love that. Favourite team? Who do you support?
Sorry to say I'm a Wolves fan, but as you've got an orange jumper on, mate, I'm quite pleased with that. So
that's it, mate. Yeah. I think Wolves need all the help they can get, so I'll stick an orange jumper on for you now and again.
Thank you very much.
Family man, Luke?
Yeah, 2 children, Scarlett and Theo, 7 and 4, and wife Lauren, who keeps me in check, keeps me going. No dogs, no cats. No, I've got no pets. I haven't got time for them, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it, to be fair. So let's have a deeper dive into your role as referee appointments officer. You said that you appoint for everything in Cornwall, every single game. Is that right?
Pretty much every game that goes on that has a referee appointed to them, it's me.
Wow. Adult and youth?
Adult and youth, yeah. Yeah, I've got not a little assistant, but I have an assistant that does help a gentleman called David Bartlam, but he's currently floated around on a Navy ship somewhere. I'm not sure, Atlantic or North Sea or something like that, doing very dangerous activities, I would imagine. So yeah, youth, all of the youth as well at the moment, all the way down to under 11s, where we try and appoint as much as we can.
So how many appointments is that a week that you're in charge of?
About 200, 250 a week.
Okay, and that bigger split between youth and adults, or is it
mainly adults?
Okay.
So yeah, youth probably, I would say about 250, probably a quarter youth, and then 3/4 adults, with Sunday vets, women's, and things like that as well on a Sunday, and then Saturday is all pretty much all adults, all the way up to Supply League assistant referees.
Wow.
You
That's so
touched
much.
on earlier, Luke, about
Yeah,
how you do things a bit different down in Cornwall.
yeah,
You have the centralised appointments role, if you like,
yeah.
and you appoint across the county. Is that a good thing? Do you like it? Has it been like that for a long time, or
It's
is it?
been like that as long as I can remember. Even to the point, I think when I started, so I started refereeing in 2004. So I'm just starting my 20th season this season. But there used to be one person in the west, one person in the east who did the appointments, and then I think when they retired, they amalgamated the role into one central role, and it's just been how it has been. The way that the county is, we're not maybe like other counties where we've got 7 or 8 different leagues within one sort of area. We've actually done a big piece of work as a county working with the leagues. We've now got one Saturday league, and that's it. So there's about 200 teams nearly. I think we've got no, probably less than that. Probably about 170 teams across 10 divisions
Okay.
on a Saturday. So for me, as an administrator of that league, it's perfect because I've only got to do one download, and then sending it to you guys. It's just one spreadsheet to send across to upload and everything like that. So from an administration point of view, it's perfect. And we did the same with the youth league as well. So we've got one youth league that runs across the whole county rather than 2 or 3 like we used to. And we are looking into a project to then amalgamate the rest of the leagues. So the women's, the Sunday, and the vets are potentially going to be looking at coming together. As we know, sadly, volunteers are quite hard to come by these days anyway. So it's trying to make football within Cornwall itself sustainable as well. But from my point of view, it's
What do you
much
think the
easier.
benefits are to that, mate? From everybody, from like different stakeholders' point of view. So like the benefits to you, the benefits for the officials, the benefit for the clubs.
I think the biggest benefit to the referees, and let's be honest, for my job, they are the most important people, because if the referees aren't happy, they're not going to referee games. We don't get the coverage.
Yeah, quite.
But rather than them having to close dates on either 3 or 4 different systems, or go into 3 or 4 different appointments officers, remembering, oh, hang on a minute, in the Peninsula League, I only referee the second and fourth Saturday of every month, and then in the the Sunday League, I only do the second and fourth Sunday, but the women's, I do the first and third. They have got to do none of that, and we used to use, obviously, before we started using YesRef, which has been, I'll be honest, an absolute revolution for my work.
Thank you.
We use something else, but now using YesRef, they just go on this. They close the dates, and it closes to every league. So when I come to a point, it doesn't matter if I want them to do a women's game, a Sunday league game, a vets game. It all just comes together, and I can see that, and I can then appoint them as and when they want to. Rather than them, having to suddenly go, I didn't close the date with, Ben Williamson for the Sunday league, is going to be absolutely fuming now. And Ollie's just give me a game on the women's league. None of that happens. It's one person. It's also one person to annoy if, you get something wrong, It's the power's in my hands to control, but yeah, it doesn't happen very often. I make mistakes as well, and I phone them up, and they go, "Oh, mate, do you know what? You let me off next week when I cry off last minute or something like that." So, but and to be honest,
sorry, Luke,
go
the
on.
politics in amalgamating those leagues together surely wasn't something that was easy. Right?
It wasn't easy. It's something over 3 years, I think, we've been looking at. So it took that long to get the clubs on board, because if the clubs didn't want to do it, it just wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But the clubs then wanted to do it. They saw the benefits of it.
What were the benefits to so we covered referees, the benefits to the clubs in this process.
League rules. So, I had one secretary who I speak to quite often. I used to live just down the road from him. He had 3 teams in his club, in 3 very different leagues with very different league rules on how many players, like higher league players, you could play, how many subs there were, whether you had to text the result in or email the result in or full time the result in.
Yeah.
And it was just an absolute nightmare for him. Whereas now he can log into one website on full time. He can do all the admin for his teams in all of the leagues, and it's done. So from a club point of view, it's made administration, so much easier. That's what we've been told.
And ultimately, that's what the service of servicing football is about, right? Because without the clubs, we don't have football. So
Yeah.
it seems like really logical sense to streamline it. Almost probably, dare I say it, what we're doing with YesRef and the referee administration, from the same sort of way from clubs, just knowing the league rules are exactly the same for everything: the subs, the fee, the match fees, how much money I need, the number of players I can register, etc., etc., etc. And we've probably over the last 10, 15, 20 years just overcomplicated it.
Well, before YesRef came in, we were screaming out for just let everyone have access to MOAS, because then it was one administration system. That's not happened for whatever reason, and it could well be because the system is just so big to have, for every referee to have access to it. It'll probably just blow the servers at Wembley, and then we don't play the game tonight, England and Australia or something like that. So, this is where you guys have then stepped in for clubs, one, because they have got one place to look at for every league. So, in Cornwall, even the Peninsula League teams that use MOAS, they don't look at MOAS for who their referees are. They go on to YesRef to find them. And I'm getting at the moment, and this is why I'm hoping, with our lovely neighbours in Devon, hopefully moving over to use YesRef soon as well, that I'll be able to put every referee that does a Peninsula League or a Western League game on, because at the moment, if they're from Devon, they don't all have YesRef, so I don't put them on. And the clubs are going, I haven't been able to find it on YesRef. I'm panicking. Have I done something wrong? Is the tech broken? And I've gone, no, don't worry. It's because it's somebody from Devon who we can't yet mandate to use it. Whereas potentially soon is, and that's different counties. That's not even somebody that's a referee within Cornwall. I can go on, find them, add them on, and do it that way. So yeah, just the whole streamlining thing for me with the leagues was such a good move. And that's, again, it was a good move for us moving to YesRef in September 2022. So over a year ago now, and we wouldn't look back. The job I used to do before, so I started the job in 2020. So I moved to be a teacher of the deaf. I then started the referee appointments because we got let down by someone, and Lee Swaby, the RDO, was like, please just help me for just a little bit.
One of those classics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be short term. It just needs some short bit of help.
Literally I started in the September, and my plan was I might have done it till Christmas until we found someone.
And they did.
And then me and Charlie did it. They didn't find anyone. They didn't really want to advertise. And we were doing like 2 days a week each. So we'd already gone down from 5 days that the old person was doing down to 4. But now I do 3 days a week on my own for this. And that wouldn't have been, possible 18 months, 2 years ago. Not a chance. And it makes me a little bit emotional, really. It is down to you guys and just the service that you've then provided.
Thank you.
And we've got clubs coming on board now, going, why haven't we been given access to this before? And I'm going, why didn't we just share it to all of our clubs, even, because they love it as well, and things like that. So it's reduced our administration as a county as well, where we can provide a better value service, really, because the clubs, the leagues pay a service fee for all of the referee appointments, like they would
Okay.
if they were individual leagues.
The leagues pay into a pot for the appointment
Yeah,
service. Okay.
yeah.
Rather than
So
them having
I
their own
don't get
pool.
I get paid a salary. The leagues pay to the county, and then the county top it up, and
Right.
and the county cups. We've got 7 or 8 county cups, so that's a big chunk. Every week we've got a county cup happening.
Yeah.
Whether that's Sundays or Saturdays. So it's a big bulk of work, and the county put in a big amount of money as well. But it's the leagues that are paying the
Question for
service as
you.
well. Yeah.
Why do you think other county FAs don't follow the same model of centralised appointments? Because I generally believe that it has to be the best thing for referees. From day one of the referees course, they get to meet you.
Yeah.
If you're available, you can go, but they just have that single location to go to for everything referee related until they get up to supply league football. So why does not everyone follow suit?
I think because we've only got 200 referees, it's a lot easier to manage. I when I went to university, I was refereeing in Birmingham. If I did a search within 10 miles of my house, there were more referees within that 10-mile radius of my house than there was in the whole of Cornwall.
Yeah, makes sense.
So some of it I think is numbers. But the beauty of this sort of system for a county FA or a league is, rather than you having to go to Ben for one league, Ollie for another league, me for another one, I'll close the second and fourth Saturday every month on a repeat just to the Orange Jumper League. And I'll keep it open, and then I'll close the first and third one to the futsal series league, or whatever Ollie's doing. You do that all on one system.
Yeah,
Even if they don't do what we do, surely it revolutionized my job. I probably shouldn't say this, because if if Lee or the CEO starts watching this or looking at it, they'll be going, hang on a minute, we're paying you 3 days a week to do this work. I've sometimes done the appointments at 10 o'clock at night, sat in bed with my missus, reading a book. And I've just done a bulk of appointments on a Sunday, sat in bed on the app. That's how easy it is. It's not
very kind of you.
It's a no-brainer for me.
It really kind of.
Yeah, I'll keep plugging it. But it is like, from my point of view, why work harder when you can work smarter? And it's something that I've had a philosophy of. Yeah, it's a culture change, 100%. And I worked so hard in like that September, October to get people to change. They were like, why do I need to share my DBS? Why do I need to share my safeguard? And you as an FA have got it. I was like, yeah, but if you want to referee and you want to be able to show this, if you want your appointments done like that, rather than getting them as slow as anything, because I've got to have 3 spreadsheets open on one screen just to see if somebody's DBS checked, see if somebody's safeguarded, see if somebody wants to do that foot level of football, and all it's all there in one place now.
So let's flip it a little bit. What's your current biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge is numbers. Numbers is our biggest challenge to cover games.
So not enough referees?
Yeah, not enough referees.
Do you think, I've got a question to counteract that. Yeah. Do you think that the leagues do enough to stagger kickoff times, to play games on a Friday night or a Monday night, where normally it would be a Saturday? Because there is probably more things that we can do as an organisation, as a community of sport, to go, well, actually, I don't have 200 referees at 3 o'clock Saturday, but I've got 100 referees that could do a 10 o'clock game and 100 referees that could do a 3 o'clock game.
Yeah, and I've had this funny enough, had this conversation literally yesterday with a fixture secretary, because they changed a game from a Tuesday night to a Saturday, and I've gone, why have you done that? I had 50 referees that could have done that one Tuesday night game I've now got to cover that game because they've done it before the deadline, because we set a deadline for the league every month to say this is when you've got to get your appointments by, because I then download them, put them on the system, do a draft appointments, then send it out to the clubs. And they've gone, because that's what the club have requested. As a league, that's what they got to do. We said it earlier on, didn't we? The clubs are the heartbeat of football.
Yeah.
The participants there are the heartbeat of football.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone says, don't they? If we don't have referees, we wouldn't have a game. Well, yes, that is the crux of it. But actually, if we don't have clubs, we don't have games to referee. So we've got to keep the clubs happy.
Ollie, do you remember when we spoke to Alan at Suffolk, and he said something on the same token, Luke, right? He said there's a big comment around without referees, there's no football. But he said you don't see referees running around an empty field of play, blowing a whistle and pretending to referee. Yet we see kids playing games without referees. Yeah. And that really hit home to me that actually it's quite a fair comment, I think.
Yeah. Well, if a game doesn't have a referee,
they'll still play it.
They still have to play it. It's as part of league rules. Again, I get the reason why, because we have got such a shortage, but that in itself, I keep saying, just put a few less fixtures on every week. If we spoke to clubs and we spoke to players and said, would you rather play every single week and 2 out of 5 weeks you don't have a referee? Or would you rather play 4 weeks out of 5 and you get a referee every week? I would like to, bet that they would say, we'll have a referee every week, thank you, and I'd miss 1 week out of 5.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting argument.
We're not quite there yet.
Because, there's an argument to say, well, I want to play every week, but actually, maybe there's a week where I don't have a referee. And I think there's a real desire to understand that once you put enough people in the same place, do you really still have an availability problem? Don't know. Maybe it's still true, right? Maybe there is still an availability problem.
Yeah.
Put enough people in the one place. And then that question is understanding what can you do to either incentivize more people to become available from your existing cohort.
Yeah.
Because there are things in place that, let's say, attract that referee to said game. Or is it that we've just got to go out and incentivize more to get involved in the game and give people good reason to get into the game, right? And one of those reasons could be as simple as, is it easy for me to do my administration so that I can just whistle the game, get paid, know that the money's in my bank at the end, and actually refereeing becomes a little bit more flexible. You can pick it up and put it down at the click of a button, as opposed to having something really formal in place. You need to speak to 100 people before you can actually get to whistle the game.
I think, Luke, you sent me a message
tonight.
Yeah. Tell us about that. That's quality, by the way.
So this referee came to me and said, I've just picked up a game on Saturday, and it was a game I desperately wanted covering, and it was I think it's this Saturday. It's the only game I put on Find for the first few days.
So for everyone listening, the Find is our live games list.
Yeah, sorry, live games list.
Advertise that out to the network of officials.
Yeah. So I've put it on the Find list. It's gone out to all of those referees that are available, but it's the only game I put on there because it's a game I need covering more than anything else. It's a cup game, 2 teams higher league. It's also, it's a slightly higher fee, so I thought there's more likelihood of somebody wanting to take it because, let's be honest, money makes the world go round for some people. And this guy, I want to say within, I think it must be 45 seconds of me clicking Find, he clicked on the game. It popped up. I get a notification saying game on. Your game has been filled. The warmest feeling in the world, other than the hugs of my children, is a message like that.
Wife. Say your wife. Say your wife.
Obviously my wife, but that goes without saying. She knows that. And
You're
lost my train of thought now. Yeah, thank you, mate. Sorry, Lauren. Hopefully she won't listen to this. It's about football.
No, hopefully she does listen to this. We want everyone to listen and comment.
Yeah, I'll put it on Alexa for her to
do
have a
that
listen to.
while she's cooking.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. I'll do the cooking as well, mate.
Do you have time for that?
No, no. So yeah, so I messaged him and said, "Oh no," he messaged me and said, "Thank you for putting that game on." I was like, I just sent him back going, "I love YesRef." And literally, that's all I put. And he went, "So do I. If it wasn't for YesRef, I probably wouldn't still be refereeing, because I find it so easy to." He's I don't know his exact job, but I'm sure he's like a tri-service or something like that. He works for the police, and the paramedics and the fire service. So he's got a high pressured job where he works shifts and all of those things that are quite an evolving thing because he works in a city. It's very dependent on what's happening at that time. And what he can do, he can delete his close date off YesRef. He can go onto the live game list, look to see if there's a game that he fancies, and he can take it. If there are no games he doesn't want, he closes the date again, and he goes and finds something else to do. So, that flexibility that you just spoke about, Ollie, I think is so powerful for our casual referees that maybe refereeing and football isn't their be all and end all, but it is something that they enjoy wanting to do when they want to do it. And it's the same with like the Flexi League football. That's about they go, they do a 60-minute game and they're off again, but they don't have to play every week. If they don't want to play one week, there's usually like more players that can play and all of those bits. It's exactly the same,
and that's part of like the retention
live game list. Yeah,
that massively goes into the retention of referees.
Absolutely, yeah. They can register just to do say 5 or 10 games a season. Yeah. That for me, that's a 0.5% perhaps on my covered games list, but that 0.5% could be the difference between me hitting my target and not.
Yeah.
If I get 5 of those referees, that's 2.5%. And it goes up.
Luke, like your target is 100%, right? In theory,
I want 100%.
Yeah.
And if I can get 100%, I'll be like, I'm retiring, I'm off. See you later. Somebody else can
just for one weekend
go and do it. Just for one weekend. No, but across like a month, if I can pretty much be 100% coverage, and it's say something major went wrong and last minute I wouldn't be able to cover a game, but if I can cover every game at the start of the month, and most of those games go covered, that for me is massive success. We were running a few years ago at something like 87% coverage, and I've not just me but Lee. We got Simon Long, Premier League assistant referee, who does a lot of the support work. I probably annoy them far too much, phoning them all the time when I'm going from job to job, but there's just so much going on, and I like to chat. I'd rather do that than listen to the radio or a usual podcast. Although obviously this one is going to be the first thing I listen to when I wake up and they're all released out.
Monday we'll transform.
So when they're all out, absolutely. So we're really lucky. We've got it up to about 95% coverage now.
That's so good.
We're pretty much. We cover most games on a Sunday and now covered every week. So we're pretty much running at 100% coverage on a Sunday. A Saturday, it varies. Again, some of the fixturing, and I've had this discussion with, and I get it. Fixturing is the one job. I said I would never do this job for a start. I was like, I'm never going to be a referee officer. Cannot see any attraction to it. It's the hardest job. You've got nobody that's ever happy. You can never keep 100% of people 100% happy all of the time. Never get it. Swabes phone me up, please. And I was a mug and said yes. And 3 years later, here I am still doing it, and
still loving it.
Absolutely loving it. But we had 1 week, I think, where the most westerly game for us was St Denis, which is about 50 miles away from the western edge of Cornwall. Okay. So we had 50 miles where we had no Peninsula League games with 2 assistants, and I think we pretty much covered every game on a Saturday. The other, like from St Denis East, which is probably like 40 miles to the border, I think I had like 2 games on a Saturday that weren't Supply League games that had a referee. I was getting so many pelters, so many phone calls going, "Why have we got a referee? We haven't got a referee." I was like, the fixture is just the way it is, and I haven't got them. I don't think I ended up covering. I had 2 at the time. I think I ended up covering about 12 or 15 in the end because people just kept picking up games. I'm available now. I'll pick that up. Actually, I'm happier to travel a little bit further in the west because I haven't got a game.
Yeah.
I'll go and pick up the game. So,
but knowledge is power, right? And being able to see it is
yeah,
what
absolutely.
we need.
What I really want to know, Luke, is what got you into refereeing in the first place?
I ran the line for a local men's team, the pub next door to the post office where I used to live with my mum and dad, and they put me through my course.
How old are you?
And then 14.
Nice.
Started refereeing my brother's team, did a bit of youth football, 20 quid, pocket money sort of thing. And then Alan Wallace, who was the West referee appointments officer at the time, in 2005. So 19 months after I'd qualified, phoned me up and he was like, "All right, boy, I hear you're 16 at the weekend. Do you want a game?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on then." So I refereed my first men's game at like 16 years, 3 days or something.
Nice.
I had more people watching me than both of the teams put together. I loved it. I had one incident. No, I was pretty good. They were all there with the pasties, sausage rolls, all watching from the corner of the pitch.
Standard from that area of the world.
And I always say on the referees course, yeah, absolutely standard. That's why we're all country bumpkins. We are. And I always remember, I say this on the referees course. We talk around behaviour and people thinking, "Oh, there's a new referee. Let's see if we can try it on." In that first season, from the November to the March, do you know how many red cards I had for foul and abusive language?
None.
I'm going to go none.
19.
Oh, okay.
I had a lot.
Right.
And I blame it on my mum, because the first game I did in adult football, a player turned around and said, "You beep." I didn't quite hear him, so I cautioned him because I didn't know what he said. I was like, I don't know if he swore or not. I don't want to send him off if he didn't actually swear. So I yellow carded him. My mum said afterwards, "Did you know that he just called you a beep, 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 beep?" I was like, "Whoa, did he?" She's like, "Yeah." So after that, I just went flash, 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 flash. But then the next season, I only had 2. But County loved me because obviously they were getting all the money into the pot.
But then, did you think that set a precedent that people knew don't swear at him because he wouldn't have it?
Player turn up, nudge to his mates and go, "Do not swear at this referee because he will just send you off." And they're like, "What do you mean? He's only a little whippersnapper. He ain't going to do that." He went, "Oh, he did. He sent me off last season." And then got promoted and all of those bits. Got to level 4, did a bit of level 4, then moved away. So I've taught out in the Middle East, refereed in the national indoor stadium in Qatar. Which you think, "Oh no, refereeing in Qatar," but it was the coolest I've probably felt on a pitch because it was all air conditioned indoors.
Yeah,
I said you won Match Official of the Year, didn't you?
Yeah, 20. Yeah, that was just before COVID, I think. Match Official of the Year. I was doing a lot of observing and stuff like that, mentoring and things like that at the time. So yeah, that was a real good.
Forgive my naivety, mate. Please forgive me. Is that a Cornwall award or was that like national match official?
It was local Cornwall FA Grassroots award. So I think I probably would have got nominated up and things like that, and obviously didn't win. But it was nice to be recognised locally because. And it's something that I've kind of taken on, and I know Lee's taken on as well, just trying to acknowledge people that just go out and referee every single week.
Yeah.
And we did that with quite a lot of our cup finals. I did quite a lot of work this year looking at how many games people did, and not just going, okay, those people got the best club marks. They're obviously gonna, have the fixtures, but actually that wasn't the only. It's not the only factor, because there's people that turn up every single week. They don't really know clubs or anything. They've never been involved in clubs, because as much as club marks give us an indication of how a referee's performing. If you win the game, you usually give the ref a 95. If you lose the game, you give them a 61.
Yeah.
So it's not the be all and end all. So we've really tried hard to reward those referees that just turn up every week and do a job for us.
Yeah.
And that, that award, I was like, do you know what? It was one of my proud moments. I got awarded. I got given it at one of the clubs, St Day, that I really like. They also got an award, so it was a real nice joint sort of award ceremony, because at the time we were still right in the middle of the pandemic, and things like that. So yeah, it was a real nice moment, and I think I got that in. That must have been in the July, and then obviously I started the appointments officer job then in the September. So it must have been like, I need to find something that can top getting Grassroots Match Official of the Year.
Right, now, what do you want? Like referee appointment officer of the year in Cornwall?
Yeah, something like that probably. I think. Or what's it like? Last year's award for we always do like a Christmas vote for awards as part of our Christmas party, and I got smooth operator of the year, and then underneath it says always calm in a crisis. Now they've never obviously seen me in the office when I get one of those emails that you guys send through saying it's time for a substitution just after I've appointed a game, because I definitely am not always calmest in a crisis. But those are getting less and less now as well. So I don't. My heart blood pressure is not quite as high up as it used to be. Perhaps it is a little bit lower. So yeah, it's that award was a real nice award, and this year, Paul Mins won it this year. So deserving, and he is one of those referees who turns up every week, does every form of football you can think of. He's refereed, Ollie's favourite futsal. He referees on the Disability League. He referees on the Women's League, the Girls League, the Youth League. He's done a little bit of men's football, and he's gone through some real personal tough issues recently, and he was so deserving of it. And the other two that actually nominated this year, I'm glad that I wasn't on the panel to choose, because if I was on the panel to choose, I don't know how I would have chosen it, because we had Paul, who does every level of football possible. We had Bill Trethewey, who's refereed for 50 years. He's 83. I think he was 84 the next day, and he still referees every week. Although he did have a bit of a pop at me at the ceremony, because I did put him a couple of weeks ago on the biggest pitch in Cornwall, and he said I was knackered after that. His wife shook my hand and said, "Thank you. I had the biggest peace and quiet I've ever had after that game," because he was absolutely, he was whacked. He was straight asleep on his chair. And Mark Averis, who does a lot of youth football, but looks after some youth referees within his club. So to choose who was going to win that was huge. I reckon the year I won it, I was probably the only one that got nominated or something. But,
easy choice.
It was an easy choice. Do we not? They're probably thinking, do we not give it out this year? Because it was Lauren, his wife, that had nominated him or something. So yeah, but it's good, and I think that's one of the things that we probably should try and do more of.
Yeah,
is just acknowledge those people that turn up every week. And we're trying to do that a little bit, I suppose, with the promotion scheme now. For for those that don't know, the promotion scheme now is aimed at not just your performance, but how many games you're doing, and it's encouraging people to do games quicker. I think that's a real good move in some ways, because you're trying to get people to do more games more quickly, but it's retaining them as well then.
Interesting though, because some people just quite like a thank you. Like, refereeing's not the easiest job in the world, not the easiest hobby to have, right? But it sounds like that you guys are doing some really great work down in Cornwall of actually just recognising to say thanks. Like, thanks for coming week in, week out and covering games for us, because it's really important, not only for the county FA, but for the league, for the clubs, for the teams, for each individual players, for the referee society, or the whoever he or she shares their experiences with about those games. I thank you is really nice, and I wonder if sport is missing a trick of just saying thanks to their officials, and not just a blanket email out to all, hi, all, thanks, send. Not what I mean, but it sounds like you guys are doing some great work.
Yeah, and we're encouraging referees to do that the other way. So it's great that referees are being thanked for the job that they do, but I'm getting an increasing number of emails from referees thanking clubs for the way that they've been treated.
Nice.
The way they've been looked after and things like that. That in itself, for a one-man band club where the guy that's just cooked you your sausage and chips after the game also has picked all the kit up off the floor. He was on the tractor at 7 o'clock in the morning cutting the grass of the for the pitch, put the corner flags out, took the corner flags back in, nets, all of those things.
Registered the players.
That's power, and it gives me no greater pleasure to share good news, whatever that is, whether that's to one of our referees or from one of our referees to a club, because for me, that thank you to a club not only is going to brighten up, Ben Williamson's day after he's thought, why am I putting the nets up again for the 5th time on my own?
Hammering down rain.
But actually, it helps my retention numbers. So from a point of view, a slightly selfish point of view, every club that does that, and I get an email from a referee going, I was treated amazingly well today, that's a tick in the box to say that he's going to turn up again next week.
What you almost need is someone be able to just record that in YesRef, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a facility for that, have you?
Great idea. I wonder if we could do something with that, Ollie.
Wouldn't that be really good then? I think we could talk all day, Luke, to you about ring and wearing all of the different hats. It's been really quite interesting understanding your perspective, and I think there are so many things that you're doing so right in Cornwall. It's really encouraging to hear. I've got a couple of final questions.
Well, when we do series 2, you'll have to invite me back, and maybe the only way to seal the deal though is if I get one of those orange hoodies.
Orange hoodie. You can have
an orange hoodie.
You want,
and
I'll come back.
Too. We can do that for you.
Don't give Swabes an orange one. Not an orange one. It'll clash with his hair.
Okay. All right. You're having an orange one. Don't you worry.
What are your priorities for the rest of the season? What's important to you?
That is a very good question. Priorities for me are, if I can get the 32 referees that we've just got on the next 2 courses to all have done 10 games and still be registering at the start of 24-25, that'll be a massive achievement for me. That'll be huge, because that 32 referees refereeing every week potentially, that could be the difference between 95 and 100%.
Yeah, of course.
And I think just being able to retain the referees we've got, and the referees we've got saying, do you know what, I want to referee for you. I want to referee for Cornwall FA, and I enjoy the experience that you're providing. That's my priority over the next sort of 9-10 months. And hopefully, we've got a number of officials going for promotion and things like that. But, just retaining those referees that just want to turn up, like we said earlier, every week. We got a level 7 referee who turns up every single week to referee. And I keep saying to him, go for promotion. He's like, I'm happy where I am. Do you know what? Those people we need, because we still need them at the bottom of the game.
Yeah.
In the grassroots level 7
stalwarts of
element of the game. Absolutely. Yeah.
Luke, so I've got a final question for you, and this is something that we ask all of our guests that come onto the YesRef podcast. So, if I could hand you a magic wand, which you could do anything with it, What one aspect of sports officiating would you like to change and why?
Magic Wand sports officiating. I think it would be that every time this would be quite a funny one. I think funny one would be every time a player actually gets sim binned for dissent, they actually have to go into a bin. So we could have bins lined up there. But no, probably on a serious note,
What a thing
I
to come
think
out with.
I was like, shall I? But it's too late now. I've done
Yeah,
it.
you've done it now.
I think probably the facility to be able to give everyone, not just referees within the game, but players, volunteers, and club officials, the recognition for them to turn up again next week.
Wow.
I think that would be huge, because we're losing so many volunteers and all of that. Let's get the game expanding again. Let's get everyone turning up every week and enjoying themselves. If I had a magic wand, that's what I'd want to do, I think.
Love it.
Great
Luke.
answer.
Love it.
Thank you. That's
really
quality.
good.
Better than the first answer.
Look, it's been really good listening to you. Really enjoyed it. Certainly understand some of those things in Cornwall. Please keep doing what you're doing, because I think Grassroots Sport thanks you for that role, and we look forward to getting you back in a future season and understanding where the landscape is at that point in time.
Luke, thank you ever so much for your time. If people want to get in touch or want to find you, do you have socials? Are you a social kind of guy?
I'd use it more just for info. I don't very often use my socials. I think it's like Wilkesy_WWFC on Twitter or something like that. But I mainly use it to keep up with what's going on in the world, and comment on the odd occasion that something happens in a Wolves game. I comment on it and then quickly usually delete it before I get told off. No, to be honest, ways of getting in touch mainly would be via email and things like that. But I'm happy to talk on the phone. But you could find me, I think, Wilkesy_WWFC on Twitter.
Thank you, Luke, and thank you for joining the YesRef.
No problem.
Thank you, mate.
No worries. Thank you very much.
See you later.